Any comments, observations, opinions?
It makes me laugh, networking. What is that meaning? You play tennis to somebody?
Networking, net-working, which is different to gross working.
What kind?
Is the right person in the network.
What kind of connection?
What types of connection
It's exactly different.
Useful
connection here is not connection there.
They have to be useful connections.
So different.
The difference between information and knowledge, and where that knowledge is created, is something you have to have a source of information to start to create.
There's no knowledge left.
I hope there is, and I hope we're contributing to the grand sum of knowledge.
Where is it nowadays?
It's information flow.
Who has read Kant? Who has read Hegel? Who has read Kierkegaard? Who has learned German? Who has learned Danish in order to do these things?
Inter-office memos, I don't want to know what they were called, I'm sorry, but they don't take days and they don't take hours to fill out anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It's much more efficient.
They take hours to make a distinction between the information which is good and useful for them and the one which is rubbish.
We know, all of us, like at least 3 languages, but not proficiently.
There is something about the diversity of communicating in the way of our own culture. You guys are so similar and so different from us.
I believe you can do, I'm from the, what was it, the whatever generation, yeah. But I think you can do creative thinking best in your first language.
However you want it to be, it's posted there, and I can click translate, and I can read the message that's come out in Italian or whatever. It's now in English. Now, I haven't got all the same subtleties that are in there. It's in some sort of obvious mixed English, but I could pick out if that's a message that I really want to know more about and get back to the person and say, that's a really interesting message. I know when your event is. I need to know more about your event. You get the gist of it. Whether it's enough to get that, yeah.
You know, in our communities of practice, by seeing not a challenge but an opportunity in cultural diversity, and that it is a learning experience, we contribute also to the, hopefully, to social cohesion in our society at large. You know, I like being in Brussels. I cross the street, I'm in a different world, you see. I go to the hairdresser, he's from Algeria, he's a diploma from France, and so on. I could pay, you see, 3 times more for my haircut. But I like going there, you know, there and exchange with him and so on. So this is, cultural diversity is an enrichment.
This is what happens in many industries, is that you come up with an idea, you have to get somebody else's buy-in, you have to get management buy-in, and everyone has their opinion. Nobody can just look at it and say, good idea, great. It's like, yes, but. And then you end up with effectively local motors.
And they take out the middleman, which is the brand. And that one is very important. It's for 70% the most important part of a car.
Or the product.
It's the brand, it's not the product.
If the brand is something to create value for the customer, why should not the customer decide what the value is of the company and the brand identity? So if he can describe what he needs as, if I need a Rolex, if I need this emotion of a Rolex, I define that I need something here because I feel naked.
No, because the moment you're talking that way, you're talking logic, and emotion is not logic.
Before we focused a lot on internal processes and efficiencies and how we deal with internal employees, but we can also leverage a lot of these trends to, well, make more money externally.
Business model, to change a business model is not something you can do.
Yeah, I think you have to be successful. So successful companies are thinking about redesigning their business models and innovating new business models, even for the same markets.
Who is going to pay you? The boss, not the customer, at the end. But you first work for the boss to me.
The group of people that are there kind of have to decide from the bottom up what their culture is. That sort of defines them as a group.
If you've worked for 5 or 6 different companies, you take 5 elements into the next company. So that the local culture gets diluted.
Before it was okay, we finish university, we have one direction, we're going to move forward, we're going to progress on career. But now there's something missing, something that will keep us there for a long period of time. There's some interesting that not there yet.
Germany typically is a hierarchical country, yeah? Where you already have a flat organization like in Netherlands. Yeah, maybe it's a bit different, but especially for Germany I'm asking, because it's typically a hierarchical country. So I don't know how it's happening. Does it changing anything? Dynamics of the management structure?
Opinions are not clear about this, but it's happening. And I think also the people feel better because the EXCO members, they feel more tangible and they don't feel like, oh, they're somewhere in a tower and I'm here. So this bridge has been created.
I've seen lately that this tendency is actually transforming the organization and they become flat organization. I mean, there was a tendency, I'm from Romania, because, and I can tell you that I have a first-hand experience with this. There was this hierarchical mindset before, but now everybody tries to be very open and we try to take so much in, we try to absorb everything from the western part of the Europe and we try to be as open as possible. So we kind of suffer this metamorphosis, if I can call it that way.
I was reading a blog on someone in the US giving the rules for good brainstorm, and the first rule was decide who will be the guy to decide.
You're not a designated leader anymore. You need to deserve the right to be the leader, you need to be credible, you need to expose yourself. I mean, the word that came to my mind is courage. It takes a lot of courage to be, right here. I think it takes a lot of courage because...
Thank you.
Just because you're named the boss doesn't make you the boss.
If I look at my bosses at the, years ago, the good ones were already working like this, even with no virtual tool.